Hey everybody,
Good afternoon.
how's it going?
It's Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday.
It's Dynamic Duo Wednesday, which means it's every other Wednesday we're here.
Right?
Yeah,
Thanks for joining us again.
for the most part. So thank you again for being here.
Yeah, sorry we're a little late, customers.
Customer service comes first.
Absolutely.
Yeah, what are we talking about today, Nancy?
Watercolor powders.
And mica pigments, not necessarily just watercolor
Oh,
powders.
right.
Actually. Right.
So, but then I actually broke the rule and used something that's not powdery.
Oh, these are so pretty though.
The
Star Power inks.
Yeah, but they're kind of in the same category and get to be used, well, except for you're going to show the Cosmic Shimmer, which is a little different for a powder.
Yep.
But then other than that, they kind of play the same way.
They do. They really do. So we thought it'd be a good time. Hi, everybody. Thanks for being here.
Hello.
We thought it'd be a good time to play with these. We've had some questions lately. They're great for, these products are really great for accenting your cards, your projects. Just give it a little, elevate it a little bit, maybe some sparkle and shine. So,
Especially for Christmas.
yes, exactly. We've had some questions, so this was a good one.
All right.
So what's on sale? We have 25% off the following items, and I'll just read them out for you. And of course, you'll find them on the online store under the Dynamic Duo Demo Deal, which runs today and tomorrow in store and online. So again, it's 25% off. So it's the Cosmic Shimmer Pixie Sparkles, Cosmic Shimmer Mica Pigments, the Lavinia Dinkles, Paper Artsy Infusions, Lindy's Magicals, and Dilutions Diamond Dust. So there you go. So while we're playing here too, feel free to ask us questions. Or if you want to see something, throw it in the comments and we'll do our best to catch those. Hi, everybody. Looks like we're frozen on one screen and not another, so just make sure we're good.
As long as we're good up there, I think we're good.
I think
Oh,
hopefully
we're
we're
good.
good. Okay.
We're good.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, so we're gonna play here. We brought some things, we brought some samples, and we'll just play as we go. And again, like I said, please, if you have questions, just throw them in the comments, and we'll
just gonna turn
do our best here.
Our special helper Brianna is going to turn the camera down.
Just take it a second to catch up.
Perfect. Actually, it's
Looks fantastic.
Yeah, it's nicely centered on the.
Thank you, Brianna. Hello, everybody. We've got some eyeballs, so that's so great. We appreciate that. Looks good. Oh, good. Looks good, Joanne. Set.
Awesome.
So again, of course, you can always find the deals listed in their own category on the online store, and we are more than happy to point them out to you if you come visit us in store as well.
So, what are some of the products we're talking about look like? What do they
look like? So Magicals, Lindy's Magicals. We sell them in a tube like this. We also sell them in a box.
These are the Paper Artsy Infusions.
Yep. Star Power inks.
Yep. This is also Lindy's. So these come in a little shaker.
Yes.
Super handy for some of the techniques we're going to show.
These are the Cosmic Shimmer Mica Pigments. So they come in these little tubs.
You betcha.
What else are we going to play with?
Oh, I decided we're going to talk a bit about, this isn't in the deal, but we're going to talk a little bit about using these with some of these pastes.
Brilliant.
Yes.
You want to know how to do that, of course, right?
Yeah. And then I have actually done, I wouldn't do this as a focal point, but as a background, I would definitely use them for stamping. So I was going to show that.
Oh, that's smart. That's a really good idea.
Yeah. So what my favorite thing about powders is it creates versatility. The fact that they haven't added the water in means that I control the amount of water, which means I control the tint. So more water, lighter tint. I also can use them in different ways. I can actually put them in a water brush with water and paint with them. I can put them in a mister and mist with them. I can dilute them in my palette and paint with them. And then, of course, there's all the bazillion different kinds of background techniques you can do with them. So they're very, very versatile and don't take up a crap ton of room in my space.
Exactly. These things are nice and small little collections that we have, right? Yeah. So there's just some samples of some backgrounds created using Lindy's, actually. These are the Lindy's powders. So this one's done over a crackle paste and a stencil there. This is just on its own, just a few different colors. I'm going to show how to do that. Like just really easy, so much impact with these kind of powders and that bit of shine in there too. You can do these techniques with most powders, right? And bringing your items together, like Nancy said, she's going to show you some paste with some of the powders too. Super
They don't
fun.
dry up and go to waste. Exactly, Rhonda. 100%.
I think this one was left over from before. I do believe that's a powder there.
Nice.
Anyways, yeah, so really versatile. A little goes a long ways. So
That's
it's
it. They're highly pigmented.
highly pigmented, absolutely. So really, you purchase some jars and you'll kind of have them forever.
You betcha. So
Yeah.
I just want to quickly show, if you don't mind, Heather.
No, you go.
I've got
Go,
two
girl.
colors here. I've got Lindy's Magical in a red tone. Sorry if we don't have it. But I also grabbed a comparable tone of infusions. And what I wanted to do was show the differences between Lindy's Magicals and infusions, because that's a big question we get a lot. So the first thing that I do when I get my infusions is I open it up, and there's usually a little white cover. I pop that off, and then I take a nail or a very strong pokey tool. Don't use your weak pokey tool, you'll wreck it. And I smash a hole in there.
Jam a hole in.
You betcha, because now I've got a shaker, and I don't ever have to open this back up again and risk getting powder pigment everywhere. So then the next thing, if I want to store this, I might just put a little piece of tape over that. But then you've got your shakers, or you can use your, you can use these. So with these, I like to grab myself one of these little spoons. This one's the new, oh, look at that.
I know.
Like mine's, girlfriend.
Yep.
So with these, I like these because you can kind of just pick up just a smidge. But just for this one, I'm going to grab the shaker and the infusions. So what I'm going to do for this one, so when you're applying, you can put it on dry, then wet it, or you can put it on wet and then add more if you want. So this time I'm going to actually get the background kind of wet. And I've already can see some powders have been around because they do that. They love to find their way into your things, just like any other glitter. So I'm just going to put a little on there. This is the Lindy's on this side. And here's the infusions on this side. So very similar coloring, but what I'm sort of showing is just the differences. So both of them have an explosion of other colors. So you're going to want to try them out to see, or check our samples out to see what you're going to get. But what the big difference in for the Paper Artsy is they have walnut in there. So there's always a brown in there. Where Lindy's always seems to have a sparkle. Well, they do have a matte line, but we don't have it
Yeah, they have
right
a
now.
flat line, but we have the Magicals because,
Yeah.
come on, the Magicals just
You
shimmer.
want glimmer and
You want
shimmer.
a little
Yeah,
shimmer.
but you can
shine.
see this one had some little blue flecks and orange flecks and yellow flecks. This one definitely had the brown. So depending on what one you get I always call it an explosion of color.
Yeah, and if you want to dilute this more, you could add more water.
Yeah.
You can layer it by letting it dry.
The other
and
thing
then
I've
add
done
more.
is if this gets too soupy, I'll grab another card front and just go like this. Now I've got two.
Oh, hey, that's smart.
Yeah.
And then, like I've done many times with the Magicals or any of the powders, I just create like a full background, and then I can die cut out of it too.
Exactly.
Right? So I take some of my colors, a good way to make a swatch lineup as well.
You bet.
But then whatever color blend I'm working with, like this might make great snowflakes. Bit of shimmer
That
and
would
shine
be
in
amazing.
there. But it's a good way to play with your colors and then just use these either as backgrounds, die cut a word, a big sentiment for a card or something, or your images, yeah.
Yeah. So the other infusions I did want to show that's kind of fun, I'm just going to dry this off, use the other side, is this one called Rocky Road. So this is the one where you never know what you're going to get. So it's just very unique and different to anything else I've ever seen. So you can see it kind of looks like this brown black, but if you look on the actual infusions, they've got this rainbow look. There's a reason. Watch.
Well, I haven't played with that one before.
Look at that. It's like
There's like every color.
every
in there.
color and confetti, and it's just crazy. Like amazing.
You can see the little colors popping up in there.
Yeah.
That's cool. Very cool.
So it can be really fun to play with too. Sometimes even what I'll do with any of them,
What paper are we using? Joanne wants to know.
I'm definitely using my Vicky Bouton. So what I do when I sit down to play with powders is I cut it into 4x6
This is
4x6 panels.
for every crafter,
So
especially if you're doing mixed media.
100%. So now I know with the 4x6 panels, I got a nice card front or a good die cuttable. What cardstock do I normally use? I definitely go for the Foundations Vicky Bouton for this, for sure.
Yeah. And we do still have some limited quantities of the packs of black left. And just FYI, everybody, the black will be, once it's gone, it's gone. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, really great cardstock for your mixed media.
Yeah. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll actually just put the powder on my surface and then I'll do this and I'll actually let it bead up a little bit like that on purpose. Because now what I'll do is I'll dip. So I could do the dip the way I do with Distress, just smoosh it in and I get a really cool that smoosh background technique. But the other thing is I can use the properties of this beading and just go like this. And then I actually pick up some of the water beading on my background, right? It's kind of fun. It's just something I discovered one day and thought I would share. There it is right there.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. But anyway, that's your Rocky Road. So it's definitely got that brown in there.
But you get a rainbow of other
But
colors.
a rainbow
in there.
of other colors.
Yeah. The infusion, well, both of them are so popular, but they're really, really fun because you'll never get the same result, right?
Never, never, never. Which is great. I like that.
Yep. And also one of those mediums where if you're going to get it out, just make a bunch of stuff.
Absolutely.
Play with it. Make your swatches or just make a bunch of backgrounds. Take a bunch of cut pieces of cardstock like we were saying and put the color down. Let it dry. Add another layer if you want, right?
You betcha.
Yep. Okay, so I will just show, I'm just going to grab a paper towel. Okay, and that's the thing. Keep your surface clean.
Because it's like glitter. It wants to find everything.
Yes. So, and if you get like a little speckle of it, and then you add, you know, you're cleaning up or your cardstock touches it, and there might be some moisture in it, it will pick that
100%.
pigment back up. So,
Yep.
and, you know, never fails. It will land where you don't want it to. So,
Well, that's the problem.
okay, so I just have a stamped image. This is one of the Andy Skinner stamp sets. What I like to do is when I purchase things like these is I just stamp a bunch of them. And if I know I'm going to be doing any sort of mixed media or watercoloring on it, I will generally stamp it with my VersaFine Nocturne or VersaFine Black Onyx, whichever one, and heat set it with clear embossing powder. Okay, so that's something what I will do a lot of the times. If I don't feel like heat embossing it, I will just use an archival ink, right? Because it's waterproof and it's permanent. So those are the two options, but it's a great way when you get stamps like these, just prepare yourself some images so that when you have time to just sit and play and add color, you're ready to roll. I know we still have this guy there. He's so cute.
Oh.
Spread a little kindness every day.
Adorable.
Maybe I'll color that one. Okay, we'll color that one.
A bird bot.
But yeah, so if I know I'm going to be doing the mixed media, if I'm just doing some ink blending, then I will just use maybe, 100-pound cardstock. Mm-hmm. But if I know I'm going to be doing any sort of mixed media, then I will definitely use a mixed media cardstock. So actually, I should use this one. Okay, so I'm just going to grab some Lindy's. So, and with these mediums too, you don't need much. Some water, some paint brushes, a few bottles of maybe your favorite colors. You go for it from there, right?
They are mixable and blendable too. So if you were to just get primaries, you could play and see what other colors you can come up with.
For sure. So out of my stash, I'm just going to grab a few colors. Like I said, I'm not even positive what we currently have on hand. It's been selling really well. So this is the shaker. And then this is the little tub of it. So they're both the exact same thing. They just come out differently, right? So I'm just going to take a little bit and tap. A little bit goes a long ways. So seriously, I own this. I will probably
own it forever.
Own it forever.
Will it to your grandchildren.
Yep, that's how long it will last. Even with this, like I said, Nancy and I both like our little Nouveau craft spoon. You can use that. But I'll also just take my paintbrush and just pick it up in there.
Yeah.
Really, because you don't need a lot, right?
You do not.
Anyways, so there's that. Let's just grab a third color just because. This one seems, whoop, all right. It's going
in the middle.
It's going in the middle.
Yep.
There it is. That's the thing, right? Like you jostle them around, they kind of get stuck in your lids too.
That's true.
Oh, that's a bright one. I'm going to be wearing that one all day.
Yep. You're pretty.
Okay, so I could pick it up with a water brush, or what I'd like to do also is just create, look at that. Okay, you can use your spray bottle, or I could also just bring in my water from my little glass of water here, okay? So then mix it up. That's how little water it takes, and those colors are just so pretty, right? They're magical. That's why they're called that. Okay, so there it is. I've just picked up, loaded my paintbrush a bit. I've got my stamped image. Not really sure about that color.
Now why did I pick these colors? Wait a minute.
Yeah, wait a minute. Okay, so I'm going to go here. Actually, I'm going to take a bit of this and mix it in there. Who knows?
See?
And I'm just going to do like a water brush effect. I can just
I like
drop some color in there. Okay? That's just paintbrush and the magicals. Easy. And I customize the color, right? Just grab a couple colors. Just going to rinse out my brush. The pigment in these, both the infusions and the magicals, is magical. The color play you get is something. Okay, I'm picking up this. I'm going to color in a shirt. Okay, just adding some color in there. And it's going to pool a little bit because this is heat embossed with some clear. Here, there. I'm going to do that. If I want to bring some off, I can just pick it up with my paper towel. And then it will dry. Okay? And then again, one more. I'm just going to...
The colors Heather is using are High Maintenance Magenta, Time Traveler Teal, and My Mojito Green. And I have a feeling we definitely don't have that one.
Yeah. So like I said, we've had many different collections over time. Some are here, some have sold with the deal.
What Lindy's likes to do is every few months they'll come out with another 5 or 6 brand new colors. Lots of fun. And they always got to get them.
Exactly. So that's how easy it is to pull out your magicals and just watercolor with them. I'm no watercolorist, but I love to create with these. Okay, easy. That's easy. And then there's so much on here. I could continue to add water, create or color some more images, or just rinse it out under the sink. Love that. And you can't see it on camera, but it's shimmery, shiny. Yeah, it's pretty.
Don't throw that out yet. I can probably use it.
This?
Yeah, why not?
Sure, I'll leave that there.
Okay.
Okay.
So the next thing that I think people forget is that, especially with these mixed media, so this is the white crackle, any white crackle. This is the texture paste sparkle. I had a lot of fun with this one. So I actually used it with a Lindy's Gold to give it a gold tint.
Oh.
Right? So this sparkle is actually translucent gloss paste with glitter effects, right? So it doesn't have a color. So I went ahead and I created one. So just for the sake of showing it on camera, I'm using what we have. I'm going to go ahead and use...
I love this paste, by the way.
Yeah.
Anybody watching? One of my favorite pastes right now.
So I'm just going to grab some of the sparkle texture paste, and I'm just going to put it right in the palette. I've done this on my mat. I've done it on my palette. It doesn't really matter.
So she's custom tinting her paste. So you can do this with any of your pastes, FYI.
Any.
With the magicals or the infusions, anything that has a pigment in it, you can customize your paste.
Yeah. Whew.
I love that color.
I'm loving it too. So now I'll just grab...
Do you want a stencil? Or you've got
I have
your stencil?
a stencil here. I'm just going to grab this stencil. If you're wondering, it's a Kate Crane stencil. I As you can tell, I'd used it a lot last night. It's kind of dirty, but that's okay. That means I loved it.
That means you've actually used it.
I used it and I loved it. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab my paste and put some down.
This is such a smooth paste too. It just goes through like soft butter.
It does.
It's very fluid, this one. This is the Texture Paste Sparkle. So there's a bit of
there's no
sparkle
fighting
in there.
this one. It's just, but I'm even adding more with the Lindy's.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't have to do the whole stencil. I did last night, but we always say you don't have to do the whole stencil.
That's right. You're tempted though, aren't you?
Oh, I
Because you
am. I'm
love
having fun.
You're
I don't wanna
having
waste.
too much fun.
I am. Okay, so there we go. There's a little mistake there, but I'll just cut that off. Look at that. So when it dries, what's going to happen is, because this is translucent, I think it's still going to have a bit of a see-through look to it. But we'll see how it goes. 'Cause this one was just Lindy's, and I do know we have these in stock. All I did was add, oh, I'm trying to find them. Glitz Magical Glitzy Gold. So they look super colorful, but they're actually, these Glitz Magicals are basically adding glitz. So it's still pretty light. So I'd probably put them along the line of a Nude Distress Spritz.
Oh, okay, right. So it's just a bit of shimmer.
A bit of
It's not
shimmer.
like a saturated color.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay.
Oh.
Oh,
Hard.
okay. So this is the other thing you need to be prepared for. If you get a little too much pigment anywhere on your hands in particular, yeah.
This is still from last night, I think.
Yeah. See,
Yeah.
it happens. That's okay.
So I'll bring this back, hopefully let it dry for a bit. We'll see where it goes.
Are any of these ones dry? Not quite yet.
Do you need one that's like that?
Sure, one that's dry.
That's
Okay, so
pretty ugly.
let's add another layer.
Let's see what happens.
Okay, so this was just a play last night, I assume by Nancy, creating some backgrounds, just probably
smoosh.
smooshing and picking up some color. Mm-hmm. So it's never wasted, right? You can always turn it into something else, generally. Let's take, oh goodness, I don't know. Under the Sea. What is this one? And we might actually have this one in the Under the Sea
Under the
set.
Sea we do have.
So it's dry right now. I'm just going to take this shaker and I'm just going to put a little bit on. Ooh.
If you want a clean one, I got one too. But you can try that
Yeah, I
first.
have one too. Okay. And it's on there dry, so it's just a powder. So of course it's not adhering to anything yet until you add.
Do you know Heather's hoarding the baby wipes?
Oh, yeah. Well, you can see why I need them. My hands are blue. So I'm just adding some more. You can keep building on it, right?
Absolutely.
And then tip it on its side. Add some more. And just create the layers in it. Okay. I could also, once this dries, make my own palette of a Lindy's Magical, little pool of color, and you can stamp with it too. Okay, so it will continue to dilute the more water, of course, that you add onto Nancy's computer there.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the first time.
But no background's ever wasted too. Like you just take your colors.
I actually am liking that a lot more already.
Well, I like that bit of blue that showed up in there.
Yes.
Okay. Now we also have the Star Power inks. We have these included in the 25% off sale for the Dynamic Duo demo deal. So same thing, give it a shake. All of these have like that bit of pigment
Glitters
in there.
on them. Yeah, look at that.
Oh, these colors.
Yes.
So pretty. Actually, maybe I want to use this one.
Okay.
Okay, so this is Jean. So they all have
Hollywood starlet names.
yes, Hollywood starlet names. We have Grace and Dorothy. So anyways, this is Jean. These are fun. You can tint your paper, your paste, all of these things. This is really fun, these guys. I'm just going to take something so I can kind of try to hold it down flat. I'm going to pick it up with the little dropper.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just going to add some in.
That's amazing.
Oh, look at that way that, okay, I'm going to pick some more up. Right, and now it's just starting to blend in there.
Explodey. Wow, that's got a real Northern Lights feel to it.
Yeah, doesn't it? And of course, it'll pool in different areas depending on how I'm handling it. Oh my gosh. Okay, the Star Power inks or something.
So I'm noticing lots of ideas for getting this off your hands. I agree. Sometimes, depending on how long you play and leave it, it will stay in your hands for a day, but
Meh.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah, it's fine.
Maybe I just won't do it before I go to a friend's wedding. Or
Yeah, but I will go, when we're done here, I will go use the scrubby soap.
the scrubby soap and the hand sanitizer.
Yes.
Even somebody suggested that it happens when they wash their hair, and I think that's the exfoliating nature. It helps.
Exactly.
I mean, any of these ideas are great. Oh, wow.
Right?
Glad I gave you my background. I get to keep that one.
Yeah, that's pretty. Shimmer, shine. All right, so there, and I combine Star Power inks with the Magicals.
You betcha.
Let that one dry. Okay, Nancy, what do you got? I have a total mess everywhere,
You have a total mess?
which I am embracing.
She is. She is. She's
I mean, I'm
amazing.
still wiping the surface. That is still me, but
Okay.
it's all over my hands. Yeah.
I wanted to show one more thing, which is basically, I showed it at the beginning a little bit. This is a stamp that I've used to create these backgrounds using the inks. And you're like, but they're so runny. How can you do that? Well, I have a way, and it's super cool. Some of them turned out better than others, which is why I wouldn't use it as a focal point.
Shelley has a really good point. We all do this. I encourage everyone to do this. Shelley says, I find that if I don't like a background right away, I put it aside and come back another time. It becomes perfect for the card I made. Absolutely. Sometimes you just have to walk away.
Well, you're caught up in what you wanted it to be, not what it is.
Exactly.
And sometimes what it is perfectly good. It just wasn't what you were planning, right?
Yep.
So anyway, I was playing with the stamp to see how could I stamp. So I'll show you how I did this. So I've got here, or do I?
What do you need? Do you want a stamp?
I had a stamp. Thought I had a stamp here. Am I on?
Maybe underneath? Is it underneath here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's right here.
Okay, Nancy's got a stamp.
Okay, so I
ready.
got these. I love these Scrap Cozy stamps for this. But what all I'm going to do, is,
Yeah, like mark making stamps, background stamps are perfect for this.
So this
right?
is definitely. I wouldn't be doing this to color later. Like, this is something that once I've stamped it, I'm getting what I get, and don't get upset.
Right.
So if I want to use the Jane Davenport, I can use those. I can use the powder. It doesn't really matter, but the point is I kind of want it diluted. I'm going to go ahead and use powder if you don't mind, just for the sake of ease. Just trying to pick a color here.
That's the thing. The decisions are hard, right? The
So
colors are gorgeous.
This is Gustav's Gold Leaf, and the reason I'm choosing it is because I'm wearing a Klimt scarf.
Oh, lovely, Nancy.
Yeah, look at me go today.
Matchy,
All right,
matchy.
so I'm going to just shake some on to my stamp. Yes, I'm making a mess, and I know it. Then what I'm going to do is I'll grab a spritzer, and I'm actually being quite generous, but then what I'm going to do is I'm going to let it sit for a second, and all the water, even then, sometimes the first one that I do isn't going to be the best one. It might be too saturated, but the next one after will be good. But I'm just kind of knocking it down to puddle. So the raised surfaces have some of the watercolor ink on there now, but hopefully any oversaturation is taken care of, because I'm just going to leave it like that. I'm actually going to bring my paper to the stamp instead of so normally you'd pick it up and you'd stamp, right?
But then you'll lose a lot of that moisture.
Well, I would lose a lot of moisture. It would start moving. I don't necessarily, I just want the high points, right? So
Yeah.
if I leave it like this, I'm using gravity in my favor.
And this is where red rubber stamps are definitely,
Really handy for this.
yeah, I think they're way better than clear.
See, that one I'm going to say is a bit too saturated, but what could happen is I could grab another one. I'm also not loving that color. I'm going to add it
Maybe
some
something
more.
bolder.
Yeah, I think so. Let's
Do you
try.
want this? This is from Under the Sea, and oh, that's Under the Sea one.
Here we go. Let's do it in
Got some?
fusions.
Oh.
I'm not going to add a ton, but I think it needs a smidgen to activate those. So this can be hit or miss, I will admit. Like, one will look great, the next one's like, oh my gosh. That one's pretty cool.
Oh, those colors together are great.
But then I said, what I will do is I'll also just go over. See, now I'm starting to get detail on the second and third one.
Yep.
And then as I start to... Oh yeah, there, see?
That's really good impressions, and that's good to note, obviously, how Nancy's doing it. It's by pushing your paper, your cardstock into the stamp and not the stamp onto the paper.
Right. So, because that takes advantage of the pooling, so all the excess water goes down into the stamp. If I feel like it's starting to get dry, there's usually a lot of pigment on there. I can always just give it another quick spritz. And do it again. Oh!
That's cool.
That one looked awesome. So there you go. Another cool stamping effect with powders. So if I was going to do that with these, what I would do is I'd grab a palette and I'd just put a dropper full into my palette. Like really just a, not dropper full, like a drop. And then what I would do is I would just juice it up. So now, of course, I've got my powder of watercolory beautiful pigment that I can paint with. So I'll just pick it up with a brush and brush it on my stamp. And now I'm using some Jane Davenport. I can even grab a background that I've already done in a different color. See?
Oh, I layered it. Yep.
Yeah. I'll try one more. So sometimes, like, this is when I actually don't mind.
Oh, good, Melanie. That's what we're here for. New ideas.
That's what it's about. So sometimes what will happen is, like in my palette, I'll end up getting these mixes. Well, in this particular case, I'm kind of going for it.
That's what it's about. It's nothing
There.
more than your time and a piece of paper.
Right? And
Really?
that's exactly it.
Yeah.
I'm not committed to any of this. I just make a stack. I go through and go like. Oops, never mind.
Or it needs another layer.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
But another thing, I mean, it needs another layer. Great, save it. But don't be afraid to throw something out either. Sometimes you just need to just say, I'm done with this.
Yeah. If you're not loving it, like you say, even after Shelley says, you walk away from it, and then sometimes it's magical, other times it's just not a match made in heaven.
Yep.
Right? Sometimes that's just the case.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just going to show something else too, Nancy. Do you have anything else to show?
No, I'm good. You are up.
Okay, I am quickly going to show how to use your Versamark pad and some of your pigment powders. Just a really easy thing, if anybody's ever done this before. So I'm going to do it on a dark cardstock. So I've chosen the Vicki Boutin's Foundations in black. So again, like we said, mixed media cardstock. Okay, and I have a couple stamped images on the Misty here. I am going to stamp them just with the Versamark ink. Okay. Should be juicy enough on there. I'm going to get my pigment powder ready. So this is the Cosmic Shimmer. This one is pale gold, and I have a clean, dry paintbrush. Okay, that's it. Okay, so I'll bring it over, push it on. Okay. So you can see, you might not be able to see there, it's just a watermark image now. That's just the Versamark, which actually makes a really cool background.
To be honest, that's what Versamark was meant for when it was
Yes.
first made.
And
Nobody uses it that way
I know,
anymore.
we all use it to emboss with,
Yeah.
right? Or do powders. But yeah, did you know if you just use your Versamark ink pad with your dark colored cardstocks primarily, you get a really cool watermark. So it makes for a beautiful background, I think.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I'm going to pick up a little bit of this pale gold. This is the Cosmic Shimmer mica powder, just with the tip of my paintbrush. And because this ink is still wet, because the Versamark is a pigment ink, it will stay wet just for a bit. You rub your powders over it, and you get that shine because that powder is sticking to your Versamark ink. Okay, so same thing. I'll just pick up a little bit more. Dry paintbrush, lightly rubbing it on there.
Shelley, that clock stamp I used is this one by Scrap Cozy. So it's got the clock and then this beautiful background and this flowers. Stunning. Sorry to interrupt you there. I totally eclipsed your project with that huge stamp set.
Hey, we're here to show the people the things. Oh, good, Shelley. I still use it like that. Good. That's exactly what Versamark was designed for. Okay, and then I would give this a little bit of time to dry because that Versamark ink is still picking up that powder. But I am going to give it a little flick here. And then after I've given it some time, I'll go back over it with the paintbrush just to pick up some of that extra pigment. But this also makes a really cool background as well. If you could, Versamark some images on, or even through a stencil, you can use your Versamark through a stencil, create a background, apply some pigment inks or pigment powders, and it adheres to that Versamark. You can really see that shimmer in there.
Wowie, eh?
Yeah, so it's super easy. Like I said, the only thing you need is your Versamark and some pigment powder.
Yep.
Any kind of pigment powder. There's been many, we've had on the shelves over the years. Yeah, I love it. It's so easy and it's so stunning. And like I said, just use a light hand.
Yeah.
Because you just want to drop some onto it without smearing the image, of course.
Right.
Okay. So there you go. Do we have any questions about powders, Star Power inks? And like I say to people, when you purchase something for the first time, say this is beautiful, you must have it, you take it home, then you think, what did I get this for? What am I going to do with it? The first thing I recommend that you do is even just go to YouTube and put in Jane Davenport's Star Power inks and then techniques and ideas. And the free content is there. If you're uncertain how to use it or need some inspiration, other than, of course, asking us and watching our free content.
Because we're awesome.
Is go to YouTube. Because, the makers of this stuff provide the information for you, too. So it gives you those brilliant ideas. And then you take it and make it your own. Okay? So there's so many things out there. So many things you can do with these products. I mean, we're just showing you a sampling of them.
Absolutely. I could have gone on.
On and on and on.
I mean, look at my stack from last night.
Show the people. Why don't you run through it? Show some of your creations, Nancy.
So this is one, the sparkle that I used a bit of pigment in. This is stamping. This one turned up, I love this one.
It's cool. Like the colors are fun. That's the infusions, obviously, because you're getting that kind of walnut.
On the back, you could see that beading action when I picked it up that way. Sometimes it works really awesome, and sometimes it looks like a hot mess.
You are both awesome. Oh, Carolyn, you are awesome. We appreciate that. Kathy, yes, the Star Power inks are all shimmery. They all have some of that pigment in there.
This one was...
oh, that's fun.
Yes.
You used the paste on there.
I did.
I can see it dry.
That's the sparkle texture paste. I think I used Golden Sands from Infusions and colored it up. And then I dropped, after it dried, it was fully dry, I just dropped...
some magicals on there for color?
Over top.
Ooh.
And it did it again over texture paste, totally different.
Yeah, there's no shine in this one.
Yeah.
Because that texture sparkle obviously has a bit of shine in there.
This one is the texture paste, but I used Star Power. So it would have that glimmer.
Yeah.
Right? This one is actually I should show
the
this.
Star Power pattern. Again, let's show them that stencil, Nancy, because this is a beautiful stencil.
Okay, we can.
Yeah, if we can find it.
It's right here.
And this is the stencil 438 from Jofi.
Okay, so what I did do, I guess, yeah. Most of the time, like I would try it. Oh, I got more here.
Of course you do.
I do. Anyway, so how I did some of them was I would put a piece of paper down, and then I'd put this down, and then I'd actually... Oh, I forgot this one.
The mist that never ends.
Anyway, then I would just do this over top and let it
work its magic in there.
Right. So I would sit and I'd actually not move this for a while, because as the minute I pick it up, I'm kind of releasing the water to go blah.
Underneath, yeah.
Right. But I wasn't looking for perfection. Otherwise I would have stamped it, or I would have done it through with an ink, right?
Yeah.
So then the next thing that I would do is pick up. So I saw all this juicy goodness on my stencil, and I know you guys know where I'm going because we've done this sort of thing before. I'll turn it and put it down on my... So I still get stars.
And color play with different layers of colors, because one layer was already dry, and
Yep.
now we're dropping on another
Yeah,
color.
so you can see the star there. I'm not doing this with quite enough patience, but you can see the star there. So sometimes even what I'll do is I'll take this and I'll even put just a clear matte gel down and then put the powder over top, give it a spray. It seems to stay in place. Look at that.
I know.
But
That's because I had a
this
UC
one-
with one of my, that's why.
Oh.
It's normally not this messy.
So this is where I went really nuts with it on Rocky Road.
But especially if an item is new to you, like if you want to get some of these and play, do something
This
like
is how to do it, because I mean, I may not
Just-
keep all these, and some of
no.
them are like, ooh. And then some of them, like
But
this
just
one, I
play with
actually
it.
kind of like that. I've done, that is actually the back.
Of the, yeah.
So maybe I'll use that. I don't know.
But it can stay in your pile until you decide.
Until I decide. And I never decide right away.
Yep, just being free to create. Absolutely, that's what it's about.
And I think sometimes we do get all caught up in the project and the end goal.
Yes.
And that's where I really love doing these things with Heather and with you guys, is because it does get me to play with the products and learn the products. And I don't care if I say learn the products. I don't care if I'm really learning too much. Sometimes it's just fun to experiment. Just like a little kid again. It's like, what happens if I do this? And then
Just
what happens
try
if
it.
I do this?
Yeah.
And you bet.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Are
Well,
you good?
Now we have messy hands. We need to do some cleanup. That was super fun.
Yeah.
Messy fun. I love all the powders and the shimmer. So, again, you can always if you can't catch us live, you can always watch the replay here on the Facebook page, also over on our YouTube channel. And again, don't forget the Dynamic Duo demo deal is 25% off the powders, and you'll see all the items listed underneath that drop down on the online store.
You betcha.
Thanks for being here, everybody.